Hi all, welcome back to Cathryn Reads. Today I am joined by my gorgeous little ginger boy, Popcorn, who is fast asleep. How long he stays out, I do not know. But today I want to talk to you about two books that I read in the month of May. And they are two incredible books and probably two of my favourite reads of 2025, I'd say. So, first book I'm going to start off with is Whale 4 by Elizabeth O'Connor. I think this has recently come out in paperback, but I've got the hardback version. It is a beautiful cover. And this is about Manad in 1938, and she is a young woman living on a remote island off the coast of Wales. The world looks ready to end just as she is trying to imagine a future for herself. The ominous appearance of a beached whale on the island's shore and rumours of submarines circling beneath the waves have villagers steeling themselves for what's to come. Empty houses remind them of the men taken by the Great War and of the difficulty of building a life in the island's harsh, salt-stung landscape. When two anthropologists from the main island arrive, keen to study the island's people, Manad sees in them a rare moment of opportunity to leave the island and discover the life that she has been yearning for. But as she guides them across the island's cliffs, she becomes entangled in their relationship, and her imagined future begins to seem desperately out of reach. This story is Elizabeth O'Connor's debut book, and my god, can she write. It's so descriptive. If you want a book that can transport you somewhere else for however many pages, 200 pages, then this book is for you. It's so beautifully written, and what I loved is throughout this story I feel like the two anthropologists that arrive on the island look down on the villagers a little bit and think, why have these people not moved to the mainland where life is easier and they can make more easier money than the life that they're living? And then come the end, Manad goes through this journey and she realizes actually how lucky her life is and how beautiful her life is, and I don't think she would trade the remoteness for mainland life. And I think she really appreciates the simplicity of her life, and it's hard and really tricky during the cold, wet winters, but I think the story, the tables turn basically, and she ends up looking down on them. And yeah, I highly recommend this book if you really fancy reading something very different, very unusual. I've never read a book like this, so yeah, I really loved it. And then my next book, if you want to cry, I highly recommend In Memoriam by Alice Wynne. This book had me in tears by the end. It's so beautifully written, and it's written in a way that it's so easy to read, yet the topic is such a hard topic to take on. So this is set in the First World War. It starts in 1914. War is just breaking out, and there's a story about Henry and Sydney. They're in boarding school together. They are friends, but one of the friends doesn't realise that his best friend is in love with him and always has been. And he goes off to war. He enlists young, too young, yet he enlists and he goes to war and writes to his best friend, who is in love with him, about his life in the trenches and in the battle zone. And there comes a time where his friend also joins up, who is also too young at this time, and it follows the two of them during the World War, and it just makes you realise what these young lads who went to war went through. And it's not even half of it, but it's so well written, and it really opens your eyes and just makes you appreciate what these guys went through. And it follows them all the way through the war and what happened to them. And I think what's beautiful about this book is that throughout the book there are newspaper clippings of the in memoriam pages, so you get to see the characters and what happens to them, and you literally get to them and you're literally scanning the pages to see who's in the column of who tragically died or who has been injured, and you're literally scanning for the names that you recognise within the story, and it's so cleverly done because you're literally like, what's happened to them, what's happened to them, and like, oh my god, like they're there, or oh my god, they've been injured, or they've survived. And it just takes you on this journey, and by the end I was in tears, and no wonder this has got such good write-ups. So if you are in the mood for a great story, In Memoriam by Alice Wynne, highly recommend. I think this book will stay with me for a long time. So yeah, 2 great books that I read in May, which is Wellfall by Elizabeth O'Connor and In Memoriam by Alice Wynne. Please let me know if you read these books and what you thought of them, and if you recommend any other books that you think I should read. See you soon!